What is happening, everyone? It's your boy Nick Nielsen with Fireside Yankees, and I'm joined with a very special guest today. No, that's not Brock Purdy. No, that's not Tyler Wade. It's the one and only Jake Storiale, Talkin Jake. How are you doing today, my friend? Very excited to have you on the podcast.
I'm good, man. It was excited meeting you a couple weekends ago at Billy's as the Giants season went crashing down. But like a lot of the mood in the air that night, we're on to baseball season, so I'm doing well, man. I'm excited for the calendar to turn to February, and soon enough, we got some game times today. I think we got some hours, so just those little things start adding up, and then next thing you know, it'll be Yankees playing the San Francisco Giants opening day.
Thank God no arson judge on the Giants, am I right? I mean, John Heyman almost ruined everyone's lives that day.
No arson, no Correa. Different Giants team than we thought a couple times.
But they got Mitchie two bags, you know. They got Mitch Haniger and Michael Conforto. They got their guys at the end of the day. Yankee legend Tyro Estrada will likely be
Yeah,
starting for them as well.
my
Not a
guy,
bad team. Not a bad team.
the young prince, Tyro Strata. I miss him, man. But
I do too.
happy for him in the Bay.
Same here. Same here. But all right, Jake. So let's not mince words. Let's not waste time here. Let's start talking some Yanks. I mean, that's the name of Talkin Yanks. So you know how to talk Yanks. Look at that. I think I
Sir.
said that 3 times. Say that sentence 3 times fast. Um, but first of all, what player are you most looking forward to watching this season? Like specifically in spring training. Are there any like position battles you have your eye on,
Ooh.
or are there any like young rookies like say Volpe or Parazza that you think are going to really shine out and stake their claim for this team?
This spring training, who am I genuinely watching? I'll take both the Oswalds. Volpe is the prince who's promised. Everyone you talk to in Yankee land, whether fans, minor league beat reporters, minor league players within the Yankees, outside Yankee, Volpe is the guy, and they have clearly made their bet with him back to back years. There was a lot of middle infielder free agents that the Yankees passed on. Volpe is reason A. They love him. New Jersey, the whole thing, they're all in. Uh, so that being said, I don't know Volpe's timeline. I don't know if he can do enough at spring training to really crack the roster. I think they'll say he will, but I think they'll want to give him at bats at AAA and bide their time, wait for injury and all that. Which, in a way, I'm a little nervous of because I thought that's what they were going to do with Peraza last year, and they basically dragged it all the way into September until the last possible moment they had to. So for that reason, I'm interested in Volpe, but I'm gonna keep him to the side for now, and we'll see him when we see him. Peraza, he got the call last year, and Volpe's coming at some point, but are they the middle infield of the future? Are they both shortstops? Can one play third? Can one play second? Who will be healthy? Who will be hurt? Um, Peraza, if he's at camp, there's no massive Brian Reynolds trade coming or anything like that, where he'd probably be a focal piece of it. Um, can he win the starting shortstop? Can he not only outplay IKF, who is still very much on the roster and still very much played 140 plus games at shortstop last year?
Yeah.
And can he also technically hold off Volpe? Like they're both prospects, they're both kids. I think he's definitely got the leg up. So it's him, and then I guess it's actually him because Oswaldo, even his minimum, he can play defense everywhere,
Yeah.
and that's why he can be most valuable to the Yankees. I almost wonder, can he truly win the left field job for opening day if Hicks is there or if someone else is there? You want to think so, but also the Yankees, they believe in utility, and rightfully so, because remember when DJ first came over, that's who he was supposed to be. That first big DJ season, he didn't start opening day, and that was one of the going away quotes. So uh, the Yankees love their veterans. I still think in my heart of hearts, if it's opening day, they'd go Hicks over Cabrera.
Oh
I
no.
wonder if he. I wonder if he can do it. I wonder if he can do enough in spring training to turn that. But I mean, those are the guys for me.
No, those are all great guys to watch. And Hicks is all, in my opinion, going to be one of the guys that's going to be everyone's watching. Is Hicks's wrist going to finally look like it's fully healed? Is he going to have some of that power back? Is he going to be able to actually elevate the baseball? because no shift means if Hicks can just simply hit it into the outfield, he'll have some more luck fall his way. I mean, the guy was shift against 93% of the time last season, most on the Yankees. So I want to see Hicks play well. But like you said, Oswaldo in left field with his defense and his range could bode well for the Yankees long term. But I think, like you said, his utility role is just so valuable on this team, especially the fact that we have a lot of aging guys and veterans that he's going to probably have to supplement some playtime for. I think having Oswaldo in that utility is going to see the most value come out of him. Um, I'm I just think that this team's going to be in spring training. Everyone's going to be watching shortstop because that's the position that everyone wants to follow. They want to see, is Peraza going to finally get that full time shot? And is IKF going to be relegated to a bench role, pinch runner like Tilo, maybe late defensive replacement? But I want to see Peraza come out there with a fire lit inside and just say, screw it, this is my job to lose. And I think he can, and I think he will. I mean, Higgy gave him like resounding praise the other day. He's like, this kid's a star in the making. And even if Peraza like posts like a 300 OBP because he's not, known for his walks that ton, all that much, I still think he's going to be like a 3-WAR shortstop because of the fact that he's got great defense, great range, great wheels, and can put a few over the fence as well. So I don't know. I'm excited for that. Spring training is just around the corner, like we started off the episode saying. It's coming soon. Like it's like the Blue Jays movie, but that will never come out. So that's the difference. This is coming soon, but it's actually coming out. So you like what I did
Still
there.
waiting, still
Exactly.
waiting for the Blue Jays flick.
By
Hey,
the time
maybe
they win
this,
that, hey,
maybe this, maybe this is the one. But a lot of people have been standing in line for a little
don't
bit
you say
now.
that, Jake. Don't you say
Hey,
that.
hey, a lot of talent over there. They just, I don't know.
And the,
I
and
don't
their
know.
uh, their restructuring of the dimensions in the outfield as well at Rogers Center should bode well for their outfield defensively. I mean, they have, in my opinion, the best defensive outfield in baseball. They've got 3 center fielders playing the outfield, which is crazy for their defense and range and glove and everything. They got Varsho, who's a beast. But this isn't talking Jays. We're not talking
No,
about the Jays today. They're the baby brother still in this division. I mean, when they can win a playoff series, then we'll talk.
we'll
But
see them when we see them.
exactly, exactly. I'm excited for the Jays this year. It's gonna be a fun competition between the Yankees and the Jays. I mean, we got Manoah going against Cole and all that. We got Gosman going against Rodon. Like it's gonna be a little grudge match this season. One thing that I'm excited to watch in spring training is how the Yankees choose to kind of maneuver their bullpen and what they want to do going into the season for that closer role. So that's kind of what I want to ask you next. The Yankees realistically have like 5 or 6 bullpen arms that could be used as a closer for a multitude of teams across the league. Who do you think comes out of the gates hot and says, this is mine to start?
I think it'll be Clay Holmes. I think with how good he was, it for Yankee fans, we're spoiled. This is the one area that we are the most spoiled, and we have no idea. There are a lot of teams that the bullpen has been a question mark for the franchise's whole existence. The Yankees are almost the opposite. The Yankees were one of the first teams to like figure out bullpens, and they had Mariano, the GOAT, like Hall of Fame. No, nobody fighting it. Like they Yankee fans have a different expectation than a lot of teams do with their bullpen. And guess what? Good. Um, Clay Holmes was so good, man, that it was clear that something changed, and whether it was fatigue or an injury or maybe both, because he had never really pitched that much, especially at the major league level, high leverage. It's different. You feel it more. So as long as Clay Holmes goes through camp and is healthy, I think he will be the closer coming out. Um, I think the other name that still jumps off the page for me is a guy that I thought it was funny last year. I think we did an episode with Joe's McFly, my guy, um, and him and Jimmy were both on watch out for Johnny Loizaga to win the closer role last year, to like win it from Chapman. And I was like, man, if Chapman's on the team, I don't think he'll give the role to Johnny. Like it was hard for me to picture. Chapman had his own problems, and now it's no longer a discussion for us.
Now he's the
Um,
Royals problem.
and enjoy at Kansas City. Um, but Johnny, who at the end of last year when he started to click, like he was the guy in waiting, and now it feels like he's not getting talked about too much at all. That I don't know, a couple a Clay Holmes hiccup or two, Johnny would be the guy. Like, we love Tommy Canley, we love Wandy, we love Lou, we love Ron. I know you love Ron, but
Ron the Don, baby.
I don't know how much we would love them if they were our go-to everyday closer. Where I think with Johnny and Clay, you can at least envision it. Even for a short period of time. So I think Clay gets it coming out, but I guess in my head I just mentally bought some Johnny Laza stock.
That's money. That's good. Johnny Lasagna is the man. He's the guy. He's the go-to. I mean, last year's second half, Jonathan Loizaga was arguably the Yankees' best reliever by far. And then in the postseason, he showed up as well. So like, I'm all on the Loizaga train. I think he's gonna be beast this year. And like you said, we got Sweet Lou as like arguably the sixth or seventh best bullpen arm. And in 2021, he was the A's closer. So it's like you're looking at this and you're like, wow, this guy is the sixth or seventh best bullpen arm in terms of like looking at it like in a ranking system, and he could close games for a vast majority of teams in baseball. Tommy Canley, same thing. I'm happy Tommy Tight Pants is back, but is he gonna be a closer? I don't think so, but he could be. That's the thing with this bullpen that I think the Yankees, like you said, they focused on in such over the past like 15, 20 years is just basically putting together an elite bullpen because they know late innings, postseason, especially down the stretch, you're going to want to save some of your arms. You're only going to probably run a 3-man rotation. I mean, the Yankees right now, honest to God, could run a 5. But the bullpen is the key. And that's how it was last year in the postseason. The Astros, the Phillies, it was just basically which bullpen could do better against the other one. I mean, you remember that Nola and Wheeler both got shelled against the Astros, and McCullers got kicked out of the game in like the third inning. So bullpens were just in constant usage. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited to see Mike King back, baby. I mean, no more Aroldis there to get him injured again. So I'm excited for him. I think he's going to be coming back opening day, maybe a little bit later than that. Even if they ease him into it and don't use him in spring, fine by me. Keep him healthy. And then the other question I had for you is, so there's been a lot of talk about how this Yankees team hasn't really changed. I mean, I think it has. I'm sure you think it has. The Rodon signing is huge. Bullpen reinforcements. We kept Judge, which is the biggest thing, and we kept Rizzo. But aside from that, it's not really that many different pieces in this lineup. Do you think the Yankees running it back in a way is the right move? I mean, I like to believe that when all these guys are healthy, it's still a top 5 lineup in baseball. But do you think that do you think they should have made some more moves? Or do you think that this is the best team that they could have run out?
I just think there's one more thing coming, and I don't know what it is because I think there are three guys that any Yankee show or Twitter or Reddit or wherever you consume Yankees, these three guys got talked about a lot. It's Hicks, it's IKF, and it's
There it
Donaldson.
is. The
For
Holy Trinity.
for me, Donaldson, he played good defense. He gets paid a lot of money that it doesn't make sense that he'll be leaving. I think they'll run it back with him. And actually, I told we had Brian Hoke on Talking Yanks today, and Donaldson, if let's say he was banged up last year, which he was for a little bit, and there's rumors that he was also banged up before that, but didn't really talk about it. If
Shocking.
he can bring up his offensive stats, Josh Donaldson would have been nice last year. He played good defense. That the hitting just never clicked. So then who else? Hicks and IKF. IKF, they locked up to $6 million immediately. The first move they really did this offseason. So with those two prospects on the way, now he can play third. He can supposedly play outfield. He can steal bases. You got to give him credit on that. Are the Yankees paying him to be a $6 million utility man? Or are they paying him to be their shortstop? Because expectations, they're a little Jakey life advice. Expectations are a huge thing. If you walk into a movie theater and you expect to see the best movie ever made, and then the movie is good, you're disappointed. You're like, I don't know. I thought that was supposed to be the best movie ever. It was good. If you go into a movie theater and you expect to see an okay movie and it's good, you're like, that was a good movie. I really like that. So IKF, it's a world you can't even dream about because you can't. But IKF as the utility speed bench guy, there's a chance people would like that. It's tough for me to imagine a guy the Yankees ran out at shortstop every day that they would give him a pay raise and demote his role. which brings us to Hicks. Hicks, he's got the long stretched out contract. The reason they did that was I think they knew there was a chance that the end of the contract could be not so pretty if his injuries continued or if he play declined or whatever it may be. It feels like we're there. Like we've now watched Hicks for 2 seasons. Dude's been around since 2016. He's a nice dude. His brother's a nice dude. We've hung out with him a lot. Um, if he's on the team, he's gonna play 120 games. Like, well, depending injury, but like if he's on the roster and available, he's gonna play. Like I've just seen it. So it's tough for me to imagine. IKF got a pay raise if he's back on the team. Donaldson, he's back with the team and he makes loads of money, one of the top on the team.
Yeah.
And Hicks is back. Those are 3 guys that there's an argument that they all should have lesser roles that are on your roster. So I still think one of those guys has to go. I don't know if it'll happen,
Yeah.
but even, we had an episode of Talkin Yanks where we got hype about Rafael Ortega because he had a good season in 21. He can play center and left, and he pulls the ball to right field. We love that, right? Like, it just feels like those guys need a little bit of a change of scenery. And if all 3 of them on the roster, it just feels like we know how quickly a Yankees lineup changes.
Yeah. Saw it in the
Game
ALCS every
but
day.
between the CS, between injuries, performance, rest, and everything, I think the 3rd day of the season, you'd probably see an IKF Donaldson Hicks lineup, and I don't think you can do that. I
I
don't think you
agree.
can do that. I realize you can upgrade and change at the trade deadline, but I also think you're sending a message to the team that's not a great one. So I still have hope. Last spring training, Gary Sanchez put on pinstripes and he was at spring training. So did Gio. So there's still time. At the same time, I'm very much at grips. There's a chance they don't do anything. And as I'm okay with that if they let the kids play, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen a Yankees team do that since about 2016.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, that 2016, 2017 team especially, the vibes were absolutely immaculate. I mean, 2017 with Todd Frazier coming over too, that was just like, wow, like the thumbs down and everything. That was probably one of the most exciting times as a Yankee fan for me, aside from like '09. Like, and I barely remember that. That's when I first started watching baseball really. And that was like I fell in love with Houdini and his antics and loaded
Sure.
the bases, then got right back out of it. Of course, you mentioned Mo, the last player I think to wear 42 in baseball. And since it's been league wide retired for Jackie Robinson, happy birthday, Jackie Robinson. But
Okay.
I think that this team right now, like you said, I think the most expendable of those options has to be IKF. Because IKF, the way the Yankees would probably think about it is, hey, he's still a good defender, specifically at third base. He wasn't great at shortstop on balls hit directly toward him, but everything else he was actually pretty good at. And he's a 260, 270 bat. Like he's not going to swing and miss a lot, also won't walk a lot or slug a lot, but he's not a bad player. And 6 million for someone of his value is something they can be like, hey, this isn't that much money that we're allocating to this guy. You should take him on. Like initially, I was like all aboard the IKF to Boston, and then Boston went out and got Mondesi, and now it's like IKF to I don't know, someone else maybe, because everyone's also still talking about is Gleyber Torres, does he have a future on this team? And I may be in the minority by saying I'd love to see Gleyber extended, because like you said, we have these middle infield prospects, but they could play short and third. Maybe Gleyber plays second and someone else rotates with him. I just think that keeping Gleyber right now should be one of the things that Yankees fans should be all aboard on, and yet a lot of them aren't. Are you on that team where it's like, look, Gleyber's a great bat, top 8, top 9 second baseman in baseball, improved defensively drastically last year. I believe finished top 5 in defensive runs saved, and he's clearly one of the guys that has been here since like day one for him. When we got him for Aroldis, thank you Aroldis, it was the biggest like, acquisition we've had in a while for a prospect. Like this was the guy. And he's had what, 5 seasons in the bigs now, 6 seasons in the bigs, and he's still only 26. Like people are acting like Glaber's like 30, 31 years old, coming off of a bad season, and he doesn't have a place in this team. But I would like to, I completely differ or disagree. What do you think about Gleyber? Do you think his future still lies with the Yankees, or do you think they're looking to move him sometime at the deadline?
It's all numbers, man. I mean, Gleyber, he just did his arbitration, the 995. The Yankees
5K
saved
off of a million.
they saved that. Yeah, they saved that 50K from being 10
50K.
flat. Um, it 2 years left with the Yankees. It's interesting because we just came out of Judge, where the Yankees made a bet that you know they couldn't get the extension in time. If Judge had had a bad year last year, go look at some other contracts. A 30-year-old guy who had a down year, it changes your numbers significantly. Judge
Oh
still
yeah.
would have got paid, but very differently than he did. Gleyber, you're in an interesting boat. There's the shortstop year that you almost have to throw out the window.
Yep.
Um, the 2020 season, that was odd for a lot of different reasons, but it,
We
it
don't
wasn't
count that.
wasn't a highlight for him until the playoffs where he was actually incredible.
Hmm.
If a Gleyber extension came out, I would be excited, but it depends what those numbers are, man. Because there's also an argument. If Gleyber Torres can be the same or get better, if he hits free agency as a 27, 28-year old, and he's a second baseman who plays solid defense and he hits you 25 homers a year, guess what? I mean, that guy gets a really big contract. So if the extension comes out and it looks like one of those Atlanta Braves extension that everyone's like, how the hell did
Cash
you
God, baby.
how did these guys sign for that? Then yeah, I'd be stoked. I think they're in an interesting spot right now that if Gleyber Torres plays great the next 2 years, he could break the bank. If Gleyber Torres has any iffy parts, he'll still get a good contract, but it won't break the bank. And meanwhile, with the Yankees prospects coming in the background, if I had to guess, I think the Yankees are going to take the chance and let the 2 years play out. And if Gleyber earns his a massive payday, we'll see if the Yanks are in or out, or if someone outbids them. If the kids are good and Gleyber's not as good, it makes the decision easy. I think the Yankees, how much they love Volpe, how much we think they love Peraza, I just don't. I don't think we'll see the Gleyber extension. If I'm wrong, I'd kind of be fine with that.
I can see that. I agree with that. I mean, like you said, it's all about how he plays because at the end of the day, performance translates to payday. So if you like, that's what Judge did. You hit the nail on the head. Like he basically bet on himself and said, you know what? No, we're not going to go into the season worrying about these contract talks. We didn't get one done. That's fine. I'm just going to play my way to a bigger contract and basically say you have to pay me. And he did that. And now he's the star, the franchise player, the captain of the team, all of which deservingly so. But it's interesting with Gleyber because you look back at that like core from a couple of years ago where you had like Gleyber, you had Gary Sanchez, you had Aaron Judge, the baby bombers. And now if Glaber's eventually to leave, the only one left from that core is Aaron Judge. And that's pretty crazy to think about. And if I'm Gleyber, I'm sitting here like, wow, I used to be best friends with Didi, best friends with Starlin, best friends with Gary, and they're all gone. So does that mean I'm on my way out? And that's what happened last year around the deadline. He was like, damn, like why are we shopping me? Like, I'm a good player. Why are we trying to trade me to the Marlins right now for Pablo Lopez? We don't like who's going to play second base then if I'm gone? And DJ's injury at the end of the season, more in August, I guess, August, September, really made it so it's like, all right, thank God we hung on to Gleyber. Because the Yankees as a whole were bad in August. Gleyber was really bad in August. But then September came around and he OPS like 1,000. And he got to the point where it's like, all right, you're one of our best bats heading into October. We're even going to bat you lead off some of the time and we're going to hope you can keep that streak going. Sadly, the whole Yankees postseason was not amazing, but it's a new year. We've turned that page. We're not looking back on that. We're looking forward. And I think Gleyber is just an integral part of this lineup. I mean, I would go as far as to say he's probably our fourth or fifth best bat. And if we were to trade that, we're relying on not just Oswald Peraza to play shortstop, but potentially Anthony Volpe to play second base, or to have a healthy DJ LeMahieu play second base and third base and supplement for Rizzo at first base. So Gleyber is one of these guys that I think is so integral to this team's longevity and their ability to get to October without guys all banged up on the IL. That was the biggest downfall last year is DJ was hurt. Matt Carpenter was hurt. Stanton was coming off of an injury. Josh Donaldson could have been battling something. And it's like, well, damn, there goes like 4 or 5 of the guys that we were expecting to be like big parts in the October lineup that aren't even going to be there. Benintendi with the hamate bone. Like there are so many pieces that were missing that I'm like, Gleyber was the guy that was there. He was around. He was healthy for like 90% of the season. So I just think Gleyber is one of the guys that a big Gleyber fan if you couldn't tell. I think he's one of the guys that's got to, get his shot, and they got to be able to be like, look, this year we're not looking to trade you. You're not going to be involved in any trade rumors. Second base is yours to lose. Whereas last year, even coming into spring training, you remember this, it was, is Gleyber going to start at second? Is DJ going to start at second? Because we had gotten Donaldson, and I was like, oh, what a deal. Like, amazing. Josh Donaldson last year was really good, still walks like 13% of the time, hits a lot of bombs, great eye at the plate. And then this year was just a year from hell for JD. He posted the lowest WRC plus of his career since 2012, which was his rookie year. So it's like you got to believe that he's going to bounce back somewhat. Like you said earlier, he's got to be at least a above average bat, not a below average bat, in order for him to continue to play games. But I don't know, man. I think that this team right now on paper looks really good, specifically on the pitching side of things. Like the rotation and bullpen, I think, are the best combo in baseball. But the lineup, we have a healthy Stanton, we have a healthy DJ. JD bounces back. Even if Aaron Hicks bounces back, that's a bonus because like the Yankees don't need Hicks to be the 30-30 player he said he was going to be last season. They just need him to be able to hit the ball in the air, drive in runners, and advance runners as well. Because that was the worst part of last season was that every time there's a bases loaded situation or runners on second and third, 2 out, 1 out, it'd be like Aaron Hicks is coming up in the biggest spot, and Yankees fans let him hear it. So it's like we want to be able to support the guys, but we also want to have the best team out there, and we want to be able to win the games that matter most in October. So I guess to wrap up this episode, Jake, I'm going to ask you one more question here. Who is your way too early, not Judge, not allowed to pick Judge, team MVP for this season going into it?
Way too early team MVP coming into the season. Let's see. Let me double check the lineup, see if someone jumps out there.
IKF.
Again, depending his role. You know what? I'll do just playing the odds and whatever it is that because the risk here is health. I'll go with Luis Severino.
Ooh.
Rodon joins the staff. He's been incredible the past couple years. Garrett Cole is Garrett Cole. The breakout of Nestor has obviously been incredible. Severino's injuries have stunk, obviously. I think he would tell you that. Man, whenever he's been on the field, he's been lights out since 2017. He's got a 3.1 ERA since 2017, 504 innings, even in the years he was scrambling to get back. So as long as Sevy's healthy, like, he was our one. He was we told teams that's our guy. That's our one. Right now, some people have him slotted in as a 4. So if he can be Sevy and live up to his career numbers or even better, which he has, and he even showed us last year, they just were careful with him. I think there's a chance we look at him like, damn, like that guy's our 3, that guy's our 4. Or if the injury bug can hit whenever, like Sevy's a guy you could almost lean on. The Yankees have in the past, so I'll go Sevy.
And also, he's playing in a contract year. He wants to get that
Yep.
extension and stay in the Bronx. He plays well. You know for a fact that they're going to be like, hey, Louis, here's 6 years. Welcome back. Glad you're a part of the team. So
And
I'm a believer in Sevy. I like that. And again, he's the 3 or the 4 in this rotation, which just shows how talented the rotation is. I mean, even though we're probably going to roll into the season with Schmidt or Herman as the 5, that's not the worst case scenario. I mean, there are teams that Schmidt would probably be the 3 on in baseball right now. And I'm not a big Herman guy, but Herman was pretty solid last year, so I can't be too hard on him. So it's like I think this team right now, the way it's shaping up, is it's looking like it's going to be a very competitive season. I will say, part of me wants the Yankees not to get off to that insane historic start they did like they did last year. Because as we know, baseball is about law of averages. So it's like if they get off to a hot start, they're probably going to sputter a bit. So I'd rather them sputter a bit and then go into the postseason blazing hot. So that could just be me. Or they could just win 162 games next year, and we don't talk about that at all. They never lose. That'd be
that would work. I
that
could
would
deal
work.
with that.
But all right, Jake, I guess we're going to wrap up this episode. Are there any closing thoughts you'd like to leave the Fireside Yankees fan base with? Again, thank you so much for coming on. This is a dream come true. So what are your closing thoughts?
Hey, no problem, man. I think the Yanks are set up good. I hope there's one more fun move that gets us really jazzed up for the season. And a name I mentioned briefly in the bullpen. I think it's going to be huge for the bullpen. I think it's going to be huge for the team morale. Tommy Kahnle, man. I think that guy he has an un-Yankee side, that's just enough in their walls that they're okay with his chaos. And I think over 162, it's good to have that. So I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like, I love the Tommy Canley like mashup where it's just like him causing chaos to everyone. He's like, I'm just gonna go bother somebody. It's like, all right,
Unint-
Tommy.
Unintelligible Tommy noises, like give me all of that again, and that
He's got
wipeout
that
changeup.
swisher vibe to him. He's got the swishy fishy vibe to him.
It's
So I
powerful.
don't know. I'm excited for him, dude. And yeah, the changeup. He and Ron with Wandy with the changeups. Oh God, it's gonna be euphoric. It's gonna be insane.
Yep.
It's gonna be like crazy. And I love Ron Marinacio's changeup. It's more like a screwball. But Tommy Canley and him, you're gonna see like I'm talking in the dugout doing that shit, and I'm gonna be like a kid on
Mm,
Christmas. I'm gonna be like sitting in front of my TV, like write this down, write this down.
good
Um,
bullpen. Good bullpen cut scenes.
Oh yeah, and you're gonna have like Garrett Cole looking for all the high fives, and no one's gonna be there. It's gonna be awesome. I'm
Yep.
just excited for baseball now that like the Giants have been eliminated a little bit ago. It's just kind of like, all right, I never really was a huge football guy to begin with, but now it's baseball season. We have the Super Bowl, whatever. Baseball season is among us. World Baseball Classic also right around the corner. Last thing I want to ask: who are you picking for the World Baseball Classic? I'm riding with Lars Nootbaar in Japan.
Mm, Newt Bar gang. Hey man,
Nootbaar,
America, give me it. I want to see I want to see the boys fired up. Hopefully we get the USA Dominican Republic final because I think those are the two best teams and that the crowd would have an effect on baseball for years. So that's what I'm rooting for.
Well, amen to that, man. I think that's a great point to end on. Everyone that watched this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave a comment if you liked having Jake on. Maybe we can get him again during this season. Maybe we could get some of the other John Boy boys coming on too. We could have a whole little like a little gang in here. You know, we could have like
Sure.
Joe's join us. We could have BBD. We could bring Jolly Olive on. I love Jolly. He's the man.
He's a
Um,
stud.
He's a stud indeed. But Jake, keep up the great work with John Boy. You guys are killing the game and inspiration to all baseball media outlets out there. Once again, appreciate you coming on, my man. And this has been Nick Nielsen with Fireside Yankees. Peace. Later. Adios.